It's Wednesday. It's time for the Wednesday wrap up. And our topic today is targets and how we can use them to help manage and plan our finances. If we haven't met, my name is Jocelyn Victoria, and this is Victory Financial Fitness, where we help motivated women win with money by learning the YNAB platform. Are you keeping your expenditures up to date in your YNAB account? It's Wednesday. We have transactions from Sunday through Wednesday. If your accounts are linked, you simply need to categorize them. If they are unlinked, you need to make sure that you're up to date, because a few days of transactions add up very quickly. So I encourage you to do that. So what are targets and why should we care? Well, let's take a quick look at YNAB and we will talk about that today. Okay, so here is the web version of YNAB. And this is a portion of a spending plan with some very specific category names within a category group. So the category group is taxes and insurance. And the categories are property taxes, life insurance, homeowners insurance, and auto insurance. And the reason I am using these for this tutorial is because for our household, we have all of these types of taxes and insurance. And we find that it's kind of tricky with all the different amounts that come due and all the different due dates. It's for planning as far as like how much money do we need to set aside for however many months till this bill comes due to make sure we're on track. And we would find that a few times a year we kind of look and need to make some adjustments because our savings amount for each of those may or may not have been on track. So let's take a look at what YNAB provides. It makes a really handy planning tool. It's called Targets, and you can use them to help that planning. It does the math for you. It takes a lot of the guesswork and the calendarizing out of it a little bit. So let's start with something property taxes. If you save for your own property taxes and they're not included in your house payment that goes to your financial institution, what you need to do is basically set up your own equivalent of an escrow account and start saving those so that at the time they come due, you're ready and you have the funds to pay them. So in Texas, we have property taxes and they can get pricey. So an average amount of property taxes in our county would be on the order of at least $6,000. I can go higher than that, but that's representative of an average home. And so what you can do is you can set up a target. You just go over here for this category. You can go over here to where it says property taxes, and it's going to ask, how much do you need for property taxes? And when you create a target, we'll let you know how much money to set aside to stay on track over time. So that's what we need. So we're going to click on create target. And we're going to do a custom because for practical purposes, property taxes come due once a year. And if you're able a year ahead of time, it's best to start saving for those taxes. So we're going to set up a custom target. We're going to click on custom, and we're going to say we're going to need $6,500, and we want to set that amount aside, and we're going to choose set aside, and it's going to be due in about 11 months. So we're going to click ahead on the calendar to January of 2027. And we're going to need that by the 15th of the month, January 2027. And we can set ourselves up for success year over year by saying, we're going to toggle repeat, and we're going to say once a year, every year, we're going to repeat this and say, save the target. And it's going to do the math and say, okay, starting now, if you need $6,500 by January 15th of next year, you're going to need to assign $541.67 every month from now till then to stay on track. And YNAB also gives you this assign button. You can see in this plan, we have $3,000 ready to assign, and you just click on the assign button and it's going to fund that in your spending plan automatically. It's just going to, well, automatically is not the proper word for me to use, but that's what it's going to do when you hit assign. Now there's another toggle that says snooze target for this month. If you find something's come up and that assignment is not going to work, you can choose snooze target for this month. And then next month you can turn that off. Now, going back to life insurance is something that sometimes comes due twice a year. And so that target's going to look a little different. So this is going to also be a custom. And we're going to say that this amount is going to be $750. You want to set that aside. And the next time it's going to come due is April 1st. And we're going to need to repeat that every 6 months. And we're going to save that target. Okay, that tells us that we need $250 every month to stay on track for this category. So let's assign it. Take care of that. Homeowners, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to set aside $2,500 by the 10th of November. And we're going to repeat that every year. We're going to save that target. For that goal, we'll need another $250. Let's assign that. And you can see as these amounts are being assigned, our ready to assign is being reduced. And the last is auto insurance. Now, this one's the biggie. So we're going to need $1,500 by the 15th of May. That one's coming up. It's kind of big and it's coming up pretty soon. And we're going to need that to repeat every 6 months as well. Okay, $375 starting this month. Hello, here we go. Okay, and we're going to assign that amount. Now, the reason I do all 4 of these together is what we do is we have one account where we set aside money for taxes and insurance. And it was always kind of tricky for us to discern, okay, number one, how much do we need to put aside this month and every month? And number 2, with the varying amounts and due dates, how do we keep track of it all? And so by doing this, you can know, you can let YNAB do the math and the timing for you. And so for this month, moving forward, just over $1,400 is going to fund all of those accounts. And so that helps you when you're planning your spending plan. You need to kind of keep in mind, of the resources that you have, roughly about 1,400 of that is spoken for already. And that helps you plan and be sure that you're putting that amount aside so that you don't get caught when one of these bills comes due. I don't want to have it come due and bust your spending plan because it hasn't been planned. So bear with me just a second. That's an easy way to use targets from YNAB for some specific amounts that you need to set aside for specified intervals of time for certain accounts that come due, that tend to come due and kind of sneak up on you sometimes, right? You're clicking along, but oh, okay, it's late spring and we have an auto insurance payment due, or we have a life insurance payment due, or gets toward the fall and the homeowner's insurance comes due and the property taxes come due. And so it's much easier if you start early in the year and plan as you go along to set some aside for that, so that you've got some reserve, and that once those bills start coming due, you have some funds set aside that you can simply say, okay, this is money that's already set aside for this obligation, and it's kind of runs in tandem with your regular spending plan, but also keeps you on track for those larger bills that come due, that since they don't come due every month, they sometimes fall off the radar. And so that helps to account for those and to set aside reserve funds for them so that you don't get into a bind when this larger bill comes due just a few times a year. So that's it for targets. There are other features for targets that we'll dive into in other videos, but that is the most helpful feature we have found for helping to calculate and plan for those odd amounts that come due at different times of the year. And you don't want them to sneak up on you. You want to be ready. So I leave you with that. And in the meantime, please remember that resources tracked diligently stretch further. And please take time each day to make a joyful noise to the Lord. I'll see you next time.